Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Patty. I go by Pattymac Makes everywhere online. In today's video, I want to share something with you that is kind of a hot topic of discussion in the quilting community. Actually, we're going to hit two items. We're going to hit the IKEA sewing room and we're going to hit ruler storage. And we're going to do those in one video. The way we're going to do this is I'm going to show you my real world setup and how I store my rulers and how I use them when I'm actually working. And I do use a couple of very specific tools to basically keep myself as organized as possible and just to make the process of quilting and cutting a little bit easier. I do use an IKEA product which is called a Skatus pegboard. I love the darn thing. I have a couple of them. You'll see those a lot on YouTube, and you'll see them a lot because they're inexpensive, they're easy to install and put together, and they hold a lot of stuff. A couple of years back, I did a video where I shared with you how I hang mine to make sure that it's secure on the wall, and I'll link to that for you in the description. That was in the old room. I'm now out in the new room. I did the same thing to hang this one, so we're not going to get into that. If you want to see what I did, just check out that video. Something that makes the Skatus pegboard system so awesome for quilting and sewing is that it's completely modular. And what that means is you get to decide what different tools you want to use to organize your stuff. They have all kinds of different hooks and clips and trays and this and that, and they have a ton of stuff. And so you get to decide what you want on your board. I'm going to show you what I use. So that's one aspect of my ruler storage and organization. The other aspect is what I use when I'm actually working. And that piece basically resides on my work table, which is right here, which is also an IKEA product. I use a kitchen island. It's called the Tornviken island. I use that as my work table, so I will do my cutting on it. I'll lay out projects on it. Sometimes I will set up my sewing machine and sew on it. It's very functional. It also houses the bulk of my fabric collection, which is down below on shelving units. So I'm all about the IKEA stuff in the sewing room. Okay, let's turn the camera over and I'm going to show you, I'm looking at it now, I'll show you the pegboard and just kind of what's going on over there, and then I'll show you the piece that I use on the work table, and that'll be our video for today, and I hope that you see something that is helpful. Okay, let's jump in. We'll just kind of start here at the top, and you can see I've just got these great big hooks. And that's all it is. And I mean, you can put stuff anywhere you want. So however you want to put your items on the pegboard, that is completely up to you, which I think is what makes this, I mean, it's a pegboard, you know, they all kind of do the same thing, but you know, with this, it's lightweight, it's easy to keep clean, and just holds your stuff. So like there's my pinking shears. These are the beautiful fabric scissors that Missouri Star just sent me, and these were some I already had. There's my Chuck. And behind him, I have my really large, can you see that? You can't really see it. This is my very large safety pin that I use as like a bodkin when I'm feeding elastic through a channel, like if you're making pajama pants or something, that's what that's for. And here you can see I've got my starch. I hang it up there out of the way. So then it's not just flopping around on my ironing board, and when I'm ready to press and I think I want starch or need a little extra water, all of that is just right here out of the way. The main thing is you want your stuff where you can find it, but you want it to be out of the way. So it needs to be easily accessible and not taking up space. And like for me, even though my room is it's a large room, but I have very little storage space. So every little centimeter in here counts. So anyway, I love this because it gets it on the wall and out of the way. We'll come down a little. Okay, in this section, here's where I put my smaller rulers. So like my half square triangle 4-in-1 ruler. Here's one of my, this is my small flying geese ruler. And then a couple of my square rulers. Just take that off. And this is the hook. So you can see it's like long, but it's got that same mechanism where you just hook it around and slip it in. And this is the same thing that I'm using even down here for the larger rulers. And it's so nice because you just put your rulers up here. Normally when I'm not working, you know, I'll put them all and I'll graduate them down by size. But for now, we're just going to put them up there. And this way, I don't lose my rulers because, you know, you can lose these things so easy in your sewing room. Here's my color wheel. And I just use this clip. Just that. And then you see it's got the little hook on the back side so that it just slips in. And so I just clip my color wheel and put it up there. And then, you know, as I need it, I can find it. It's just always there and it's out of the way. And it's very easy for me to get my hands on. This is a larger, like a 60mm cutting tool, rotary blade, or rotary tool I haven't used. It's just kind of hanging out. And then my little small scissors are up here. And let's see, let's come down a little. So this is where the larger rulers live. And like I was showing you, it's the same hook as I used on the small rulers. Over here, this is where I put my patterns. And all I did was use that same little hook. It's just a smaller hook. And it's got it's got 5 patterns. So it will hold several patterns. So you can just put them all in here. And they're out of the way. I left them in their cellophane so they're all protected. And when I'm ready to try something, there it is. It's right there. Easy enough. And then I use that same hook over here for my sleeve board. And I just used the little hook that you use to set the sleeve board up to hang it. And then there it is, out of the way. I love this thing. And it holds a ton of stuff. You can't believe until you pull everything off how much stuff it really holds. I also have a marker, a Hera marker. Although I got it and I realize it's kind of the same thing as the point turner tool that I use. So I haven't even taken that out yet to use. So that's the SCADIS, the pegboard. If you don't have IKEA where you are, or you can't get a SCADIS pegboard, you can always get just a regular pegboard through like Home Depot or something. But I think those are wood. I don't think they're plastic. I also think you can find these on Amazon, but it's going to be a lot more money, and people are like going to their IKEA and buying this and then shipping it to you. So I don't know how it's going to come packaged. I think that you can order this setup through the IKEA website. I'll check on that for you and have an update that I'll insert here.
Okay, I just checked and it looks like they deliver to a lot of places. So go to the IKEA website and pop in your zip code and see if you can have delivery too.
Anyway, I really love this thing. I've been using it for years now, and I can't imagine not having it. I have another one that I use in my office area, and I use that to corral all of my bills and my, my life stuff that we all have to deal with. Those unfortunate, unfun things. This is more of a fun use of the pegboard, but it does keep me organized. Anyway, I just wanted to show this to you. And like before I did this video, I didn't plan anything. I didn't script anything. I didn't clean anything up. This is just the room as it is. So, this is the height of messiness. And I think that's pretty good because we all know how messy a room can get when we're working. And if this is as bad as it gets, that's not too bad. Okay, let's head to the work table and let me show you the other little gadget that I use that I love just as much. And I can't imagine not having it either. Okay, so here is the tabletop. And generally when you're in project mode, you're going to have a couple of zones on your work table, and one is going to be like your cutting zone over here where you're cutting, and then your tool zone. This is how I do it anyway. So my cutting zone is over here, and then my tool zone is over here. And for tools, it's, pins and clips and cutting implements, and you can see over to the left my little, I call it my little trash bin, my scrap bin. That's where all the scraps go. That's also an IKEA product. My rotating mat will sit over here until I'm ready to use it. And then over in the back corner, that's what we're going to talk about now. And that's how I keep all of my rulers straight. Because if you've done this at all, you know that a big issue is losing your rulers in the midst of your fabrics. And you might have scraps everywhere, so definitely the little scrap bin is well worth having, and so is the ruler Roundup. That's what that is called, and let me show you that up close. Okay, so as I was saying, I did very little cleanup in here because I wanted you to see how much of a difference having both the pegboard and this ruler Roundup makes. And there's other products. You don't have to get the ruler Roundup. This is just the one that I got, and I love it. And I'll show you why. So anyway, until I had this thing, when I would be working on projects, I was forever and a day losing my rulers in piles of cuttings and fabric and all of that stuff. And now with this piece, it's basically, let me show you what's on it first. It's basically just a wooden piece with channels, and you just slip your stuff in. So up here you can put your bigger stuff. That's how I use it. And then the smaller items can go down here. And you can see I've got a whole bunch of different stuff. So I've got my Creative Grids square rulers. And then I've got my large Quilt in a Day Flying Geese ruler and the instructions. And these are comic book boards. And so this is as I have used the fabric on the boards. The pieces are less than a yard, so they're too small to wrap on the full-size boards. That fabric will go into we'll call it a scrap bin, or get used as fat quarters, that type of thing. It'll basically get moved over to the craft cart when it's no longer big enough for here. And then I'll save these here, and then I'll just wrap new yardage on these to store. So this is just hanging out until I'm ready to wrap some fabric. And all of these rulers are the rulers that I have been using in my most recent projects. So if you've watched the channel and you've seen the Sunshine Kittens, this is everything that I've been using to make the Sunshine Kittens. And it's kind of a lot. It's really a lot. But it is what it is. And, I rely on using a lot of rulers to have some accuracy in my piecing. And that's just how I do it. So forever and a day, I would be losing these little bitty 2.5-inch square rulers. But now it's always right here. And then this one, this funny looking one, this Omni Grid, I use that to mark my lines when I'm doing any kind of half square triangles. I love it because it just makes it very easy to mark my sewing lines. And then of course just everything else is right here as I need it. And it sits above, so like here's the rotating mat with fabrics on it that I've been using. And it sits above this, so it's very easy to find even those small rulers as you're working. You just have to be, you know, you have to be consistent, and as soon as you're done with the tool, you return it to the slot. Like, don't just throw your stuff all over your table because you're going to have the same problem. But if you are, you know, very focused on returning tools as you're done with them, these things are amazing. And I will tell you something else I like about this ruler Roundup. There's a couple things I like. One is that it's a Missouri Star item, so I can give you a link to it. And if you buy it from Missouri Star, guess what? You can get the 20% off on it, which is a great deal. This piece is all wood and it's made in America. So I really like that. Let me just take everything off so you can really see what it is. Oh, and look, my little small Omni Grid ruler was tucked behind. And this is what it looks like. Now there are other versions. You can get like a plastic or a silicone version. I've seen those. But I don't know, I liked this. And I like that it's on Missouri Star's website. And I really like that it's made in America, let's be honest. And this is a handmade item. So they're cutting and sewing and piecing this together by hand. So this is a handmade item. It's Ruler Roundup, and it's by Doohickey Designs, and this is a company out of Utah. Oh Lord, trying to get this so you can see it. There you go. Anyway, so you can find other items, but I'm going to recommend this every day, all day, because it is made in America, and I'm big on that. I think it's important. So this is the instructions that go with my Circle Savvy ruler. So I guess I just left it over here from the last time that I used it. And you just, you know, very easily put your items back in. I just think it's fantastic. And I can put my small Omni Grid down here. And you know how easy it is to lose that little thing? And there it is. I won't lose it now. And then I can tuck my comic book boards in there until I'm ready. And then there's my instructions that go with my quilt in a day. Now, when I'm completed with what I'm working on that uses these rulers, they will get returned over to the SCADIS. And all of these will go on that upper hook that I showed you where I had the smaller rulers. The Omni Grids, they'll just kind of stay over here with the ruler Roundup because they don't have holes or anything. They're a little hard to store, but very handy nonetheless. So that's what's going on with how I keep my rulers. I definitely recommend it. I hope this will help you or give you some ideas if you're struggling with keeping your stuff straight. I think half the battle with the quilting is keeping everything straight and organized, because it's a lot of little bits and pieces that we use. And being able to keep them straight and keep them organized, it makes the piecing and sewing process a lot more enjoyable, because you can find what you need when you need it. And let's be real, that can be a super big issue. Let me just show you this really quick while we're here, and then we'll call it a day. So this is just a little hard plastic bin, and it's got little handles. And as I'm working, I just do all the cuttings into here. And when it's full, I dump it. And this also really helps me to keep my workspace neat when I'm in the midst of a project. So that is a big bonus for me. You can kind of see here I'm in the middle of some stuff. This little piece peeking out will be coming soon, and you can see that I've still got those Whiskers kittens here on the work table because there's more Whiskers projects to come, and coming soon. I'll be working on those as soon as I'm finished with these videos for you. So cute. Okay, that's the video. I hope it helps you, and if you want to drop your suggestions for how you like to keep your rulers stored and organized, go ahead and drop that in the comments below. It's really helpful to learn about what other people do and how they keep their items, and I would love to know what you're doing as well. And if you have any experience with the ruler Roundup, let us know about that, or the SCADIS. I know I know the SCADIS is popular. You may not be as familiar with ruler Roundup, but I love it and highly recommend both. Okay, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you around YouTube. And until next we meet, my friends, stay positive and just keep quilting.